Why are the world's superpowers suddenly so interested in Canada? Why is China buying up Canadian mining companies? Why is the United States tightening military ties in the Arctic? Why are European nations rushing to secure trade deals for Canadian resources? It's not a coincidence. It's not about friendship. Canada is on the menu. And it wasn't an accident. Beneath the peaceful, polite image lies something far more valuable: resources that could determine who controls the future. Critical minerals, freshwater, energy, Arctic access, everything the world's most powerful nations are fighting over. The question isn't if Canada will be carved up. The question is, who gets the biggest piece? Why Canada matters. Canada's significance goes far beyond its friendly make-believe image and polite reputation. Beneath the surface lies something far more valuable: a treasure trove of natural wealth that the modern world cannot function without. Let's start with the basics. Canada is the second largest country on Earth by land area, stretching across nearly 10 million square kilometers. But size alone doesn't tell the whole story. What matters is what's beneath that land. Canada holds some of the world's richest deposits of critical minerals: lithium, nickel, cobalt, copper, and rare earth elements. These aren't just valuable commodities, they're the building blocks of the future. Electric vehicle batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, smartphones, military technology, all of it requires these minerals. And as the world races toward a green energy transition, the demand is skyrocketing. But Canada's wealth doesn't stop underground. Above the surface, the country controls nearly 20% of the world's freshwater supply. In a future where water scarcity could trigger conflicts, this is a strategic asset beyond measure. Then, there are the forests. Canada's boreal forest is one of the largest intact forest ecosystems on the planet, acting as a massive carbon sink and a source of timber, paper, and biofuels. And let's not forget energy. Canada is one of the top oil and natural gas producers in the world, with vast reserves in Alberta's oil sands and offshore fields. While the world talks about moving away from fossil fuels, the reality is that oil and gas will remain critical for decades, and Canada controls a significant share. But perhaps the most game-changing asset is Canada's Arctic coastline. As polar ice melts due to climate change, new shipping routes are opening across the top of the world. The Northwest Passage could become a vital trade corridor, cutting shipping times between Asia and Europe by thousands of miles. Whoever controls these routes controls a major artery of global commerce. Add to this Canada's stable political system, modern infrastructure, and proximity to the largest economy in the world, the United States, and you start to see why Canada is no longer just a peaceful neighbor. It's a geostrategic pivot point, and the world's most powerful nations are taking notice. Global Pavilies, Clare. Canada's resources and strategic location have not gone unnoticed. In fact, multiple global powers are quietly positioning themselves to gain influence, access, and control. Let's start with the obvious player, the United States. For America, Canada isn't just a friendly neighbor, it's a critical security and economic partner. The two countries share the longest undefended border in the world, and their economies are deeply intertwined through trade agreements like USMCA. But beyond trade, the USMCA views Canada as essential to its national security strategy. Canada's Arctic territory is a front line in any potential conflict with Russia or China. American military planners know that control of the Arctic means control of strategic airspace, early warning systems, and missile defense networks. The U.S. has long worked with Canada through NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, but as tensions with rival powers grow, that partnership is becoming even more critical. Then there's China. Over the past 2 decades, Chinese companies have quietly invested billions of dollars in Canadian mining operations, energy projects, and infrastructure. On the surface, these look like normal business deals. But dig deeper, and you'll find a long-term strategy to secure supply chains for technology and green energy. China needs lithium for batteries. It needs nickel and cobalt for electric vehicles. It needs rare earth elements for military hardware and advanced electronics. And Canada has all of it. Chinese state-owned enterprises have acquired stakes in Canadian mining companies, purchased land near critical infrastructure, and even attempted to take over major tech firms until the Canadian government blocked the deals on national security grounds. But the influence doesn't stop at economics. China has also been accused of using investments as leverage, pressuring Canada on political issues and attempting to shape public opinion through media and academic partnerships. Europe is also in the game, though more subtly. European nations are engaging Canada through trade agreements, joint research projects, and partnerships on climate initiatives. Countries like Germany and France are particularly interested in securing access to Canada's green energy resources, hydrogen, critical minerals, and renewable electricity as they transition away from Russian oil and gas. Behind all of this, intelligence agencies are watching. Every major acquisition, every infrastructure project, every strategic partnership is being analyzed by economic and military planners who understand that control of Canada's resources could shift the balance of power in the 21st century. The competition is quiet, diplomatic, and conducted through business deals and political influence. But make no mistake, it's intensely strategic. Economic and geopolitical stakes. The stakes couldn't be higher. Canada's wealth is no longer just about domestic prosperity. It's about global dominance in the industries that will define the future. Let's talk about electric vehicles. The global EV market is expected to grow exponentially over the next 2 decades. Every single one of those vehicles needs a battery, and every battery needs lithium, nickel, and cobalt minerals that Canada produces in abundance. Whoever controls the supply chain for these minerals controls the future of transportation. It's that simple. Now consider renewable energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, and grid storage systems all require critical minerals and rare earth elements. As countries scramble to meet climate targets and reduce carbon emissions, demand for these materials is surging. Canada is one of the few countries with both the resources and the political stability to reliably supply them. Then there's the Arctic. This isn't just about shipping routes, it's about sovereignty, security, and survival. As ice melts and new waterways open, questions arise. Who controls these routes? Who has the right to patrol them? Who can tax the ships passing through? Russia has already militarized its Arctic coastline, building bases, deploying troops, and planting flags on the ocean floor. China, despite having no Arctic territory, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and invested heavily in polar research and icebreaker ships. For Canada, losing control of the Arctic would mean losing strategic leverage, economic opportunity, and national security. It's not an exaggeration to say that the Arctic could become the next major flashpoint in global geopolitics. Military considerations are also growing. Arctic patrols, satellite monitoring, missile defense systems, and early warning networks are all tied to Canada's northern frontier. In a future conflict, whoever controls the Arctic could control the outcome. Every investment in a Canadian mine, every pipeline approval, every port expansion is now part of a larger chessboard where nations maneuver for influence without firing a shot. Xanatas spread is responsi. Canada is not sitting idle. Recognizing the pressures and the opportunities, the country has begun to take action. First, there's a push to build domestic processing capacity for critical minerals. Instead of simply exporting raw materials to be refined elsewhere, Canada is investing in facilities that can process lithium, nickel, and rare earths on home soil. This reduces dependence on foreign powers and creates high-value jobs. Second, Canada is strengthening its Arctic presence. New patrol ships, expanded satellite surveillance, and infrastructure investments are asserting sovereignty over contested northern waters. Military exercises with NATO allies send a clear message: Canada's Arctic is not up for grabs. Diplomacy is also a priority. Canada is deepening alliances with the United States, European nations, and emerging partners in the Indo-Pacific region. Trade agreements are being renegotiated to ensure fair access to resources while protecting national interests. Environmental oversight is another key component. Canada knows that sustainable development isn't just about optics, it's about long-term stability. Mining projects must meet strict environmental standards, and green energy initiatives are being promoted to ensure that economic growth doesn't come at the cost of the planet. Every move is carefully calculated, designed to protect sovereignty while remaining an attractive partner in the global economy. Canada is quietly preparing for a world where influence is measured as much by resources and geography as by military power. Looking ahead, Canada's role on the global stage is set to expand. As energy transitions accelerate, Arctic routes open and demand for minerals grows, Canada's influence will only increase. But with opportunity comes risk. Foreign powers will continue circling. Strategic decisions will have lasting consequences, and the balance between economic opportunity and national security will remain delicate. How Canada navigates this era will shape not only its own future, but the balance of power across the world, and perhaps determine the next decade of global geopolitics. Canada is on the menu, and the feast has only just begun. Thanks for watching. If this opened your eyes to the hidden forces shaping our world, smash that subscribe button for more geopolitics and geography content. Hit the like button. Share this with someone who needs to understand what's really happening. And check out more videos on global power struggles on screen now. See you in the next one.